I'm not going to put money behind an advertisement unless the beats I'm advertising are already getting engagement. So I already put them out on YouTube. I already put them out on BeatStars, and I wait about 6 months until I get feedback. Peace, what's going down? Welcome back to the Music Entrepreneur Club podcast, or welcome if this is your first episode ever. Appreciate that. My name is DJ Payne One. I am joined by Dame Ritter and Aaron Knight, and we're ready to talk about the Kardashians. Dame, I know that there was some pretty crazy new developments coming out. We're also going to talk about, I can't do it this morning. What are we actually going to talk about?
Well, I mean, we definitely have some dope topics today, but shout out to everybody that was part of the BET Hip Hop Awards. I watched some of that last night. I was clicking through some of the performances. Joey Badass, I think, had a really dope performance.
Yeah, he performed our song, actually, a song that I co-produced. Yeah.
Nice.
So they contacted me. They contacted me last week aggressively trying to get that cleared. I'm like, why is BET going so hard on these phone calls? But I didn't realize it was fast approaching. So we got to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first BET phone call. So that was kind of cool.
Nice. Congrats to Armani White. So Armani White, I tried to get on the last 1 week notice project. He couldn't do it, and then he just like quickly took off with his Billie Eilish song. And now he got to perform at the BET Hip Hop Awards. Noriega joined him for his performance. It was dope, man. So I hope that he continues his success. I'm sure Billie Eilish has more life in it, but I hope he catches another one and another one and another one, because he's a really dope artist, and he seems like a really good dude. I don't know him that well, but we have connected a few times. And it's just dope to see, people kind of, I know from the outside looking in, it looks fast. Like he's been grinding for a minute, but, that song really took off. He signed to Def Jam, and then they really kind of put some fuel on the fire. So that was dope to see. I always look for the ciphers too, still. I know that most of them are not like traditional. Like if you're a hip hop traditionalist, you're probably not gonna find what you hope to find. But there were some cats that were spitting, and some women that were spitting last night. So check that out. I saw Ray Vaughn of TDE killed it. There's a cat named Ruben Vincent. He killed it. I always mispronounce her name. The young lady from Rhymesayers, Ciroc might be her name. But she's dope. She's got really long locks. She's been around for a long time. But it was dope to see her on that platform and do her thing. So yeah, shout out to everybody that was part of the BET Hip Hop Awards. All right, let's start this off. Aaron, there was a tweet that I responded to and then tagged us in, and I thought it would be a good topic for the podcast. It was a tweet from Carl Cherry, who is pretty much the head of hip hop at Spotify. I don't think that's his exact title, but that's essentially what he is. But yeah, Aaron, you want to read off that tweet?
Yes, he said, would you rather start your career with platinum success for 3 years and then flame out, or be a critically acclaimed artist that has never gone gold, but has yet to peak commercially over 10 years into your career? So which one would you rather?
Payne, you want to kick us off with your thoughts?
These always frustrate me because I ask too many questions. Because I started my career with a platinum record. But then again, someone could say, well, it wasn't a platinum single, so now there's a condition. Or, you were the producer. It wasn't you as the solo artist that got the platinum record. So, personally, it was great for me, but it also, I feel like, was faster than what I personally was ready for, just because, that's my introduction to the music business. Wow, I was thrown right into the mix, which I can't say anything negative about. It was just learning on my feet. With what I learned about going platinum, however, I learned that doesn't necessarily mean money, that doesn't necessarily mean additional opportunities. It sounds like being critically acclaimed would suggest longevity. But if we're talking about, I mean, remember they said Lil Nas X was a one-hit wonder. So if Old Town Road was his only big hit and he did fall off after that, I mean, he can kind of do whatever he wants. So I would personally need more information. But given the tone and what I think the author is insinuating, I'll take the second option.
You're on mute.
Yeah, my bad. The thing for me is like a lot of people immediately responded about the economics. And I think there's just a lot of like confusion, or people on the outside don't really understand the economics of successful independent artists. And I'm not going to say that all independent artists don't have the team or the knowledge set up to capture everything that's available to them, right? So if you're saying, even if you're the acclaimed artist that has a longer career, I'm assuming that you also kind of understand your position. You understand how to monetize your community. You know what different revenue streams are available to you, and you're capturing on those, right? Because if that's the case, then the economics are way better on the longevity side, right? Especially here's my thing about especially songs today, right? There's a lot of songs going gold and platinum. I see people celebrating gold and platinum success all the time. I think that the longevity of those songs is a lot shorter than like platinum albums and singles of the past, just because so much more music is being made. So I don't think you're going to be able to monetize them in the same way, like in the future, right? So if there's there's a lot of platinum and gold records. Not that I listen to all music, but like back in the day when an album went gold or platinum, you were kind of like, oh, I get that. I hear that all the time. Like I see that all the time. Like now when songs go gold and platinum, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like I don't even know who this artist is, right? Because there's so much music being made. I think that the monetization options long term for a particular record, unless it's an Old Town Road, to me, an Old Town Road is an exception. That's like a diamond record, right? That's not just a platinum record.
That's true. Yeah.
So to me, if you have a platinum record these days, like it could stick, it may stick. It just depends on the record. But like some of these gold and platinum records today are going to be like, here today, gone tomorrow. And they might still stream here and there, but I don't think there's going to be like that many placements in television and film because it didn't stick to us. It's not, there's no nostalgia to it. Fast forward 10 years down the road. I don't know if people are still going to be wanting to sample it and place it in commercials and things like that. So that's another reason I definitely kind of jumped on the longevity side. One, because I understand the economics of successful independence today. And two, like, I just think that a lot of the songs going gold and platinum today, like shout out to the people that are going gold and platinum, but like there's so much music being created. I think that, a lot of those songs are going to be gone and have a shorter lifespan than like hits of, the 90s, 80s, 70s, 2000s, etc. But that's my perspective. Aaron, what do you think?
That's like we had brought up Mims a couple weeks ago. Like Mims, This Is Why I'm Hot was a platinum record. Mims, bringing his name up in a conversation is not going to bring any credibility. People aren't going to be like, oh, yeah. And that wasn't that long ago. That was maybe 12 years ago. But had that been his first song and it might have not blown and kept going and was still here today, I feel like he may have preferred that. I don't know. He might have made his money and been like, I'm cool. I just wanted to make one hit song. But I even think about B2K. B2K they had, I would say, a couple of platinum hits and then flamed out, and they're still trying to catch that wave. And it's kind of sad. And no disrespect to any of the guys in B2K. obviously they have more of a career, but it's this struggle that you can see with them where they had this big name, this big hype, and they can't reintegrate into the independent scene. So they're just label hopping and tour hopping and show hopping for some sort of clout that could keep them around A-list celebrities, B-list celebrities, but they don't make that type of money at all, like anywhere close to it. So it's like you have this notoriety and recognition from fans, but you're trying to figure out how to pay your bills. And I know that to be true because I know how those dudes move. You know what I'm saying? Like I've experienced some moments with some of those members where I'm like, oh, damn, like it has to be a sad reality for everybody to know who you are, but you can't really make money. Because and then again, the economics, like you said, Dame, everybody was like, I'd rather have a platinum hit, da 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 da. Yo, if you have a platinum hit, there's a label behind you 99 times out of 100, right? And that label is getting a shit ton of money. And then when that song starts to blow, they're just pumping money into you so that you have more to recoup. So as that song leads, they're just getting all of the big, like labels aren't set up to care for people well. So I'm not going to, as somebody who's been in the music industry 12 years last month, it's been a slow, not so fun grind. But I know until the day I die, my name is going to have weight in the music industry. So for me, I want that. But a lot of people want clout. People's idea of success is different. I think my idea of success has to do with longevity and sustainable money, not just money at one time. And I get people like, well, you can invest and da-da. When you're a rapper and you get a platinum hit, you're not thinking, let me invest all this money. You're thinking, I'm on top of the world and nobody's ever going to be able to come for me. I've seen it. You're not thinking, let me be frugal. Occasionally people are, I'm not going to say everybody, but most people are like, this is my life now. And then they don't realize until they're flaming out that they missed their moment to capitalize on more things.
Right. So the B2K thing, like, well, one, there's just a lot of infighting and they're just not together. So I think if they came together, like they could actually do something today. And they were more than just like they were doing their things for a few albums. Like I think they had their run was longer than a few years. But like, let's just imagine like there you were, like, just had the type of career that Carl's talking about. Like more people know about B2K than like know about Armani White is kind of what my point is. Like, and this is not a diss to Armani. Armani's my guy, but like, he has one record and he came out on like, he didn't like come out to the greatest of applause because I think a lot of people weren't familiar with who he is, right? And a lot of people might know the song, but they don't know the face because his like social media and like fans haven't really caught up to the success of the song. And that's another thing that, like, if you do get an opportunity like Armani currently has, I hope that he's setting himself up and still has like an independent mindset to like capture these fans and to grow his community. And he's not getting ahead of himself and just kind of celebrating the success of the song. Because, I think a lot of times, most of the times, like if you sign to a major label early, it kind of messes you up when you have to go back independent, right? Like you get used to a different type of support. And then when that support gets pulled from under you, you're kind of like, oh, what do I do? Like, how do I use TikTok? How do I use Twitter? Like, what's a community? Like what? I should text fans? Like you don't really know how to operate. And I just hope that, Armani was doing his thing before he signed in Def Jam. So hopefully he doesn't fall into this, but I've seen a lot of careers get ruined because they signed to a major label too early. It didn't work out like they thought it would. And now they're like, damn, I don't really know how to move independently. Their expectations are too high for certain things. And they just don't know. They didn't build it themselves. Right. So they don't understand like how it should work. So yeah, I don't think, hopefully it doesn't happen to Armani. He's a sharp cat. And hopefully he continues to catch more records.
Speaking of that, though, can I pick up on the Mims mention? So I met Mims, and I don't know, he just seemed different. So when I look at in a good way, Mims is a great example of exactly the best case scenario that the two of you are talking about. Because Mims, let the average person tell it, Mims is broke and living in obscurity, right? Because he had that one hit and disappeared after that. Mims actually had 3 hits. A lot of people don't know. Mims had This Is Why I'm Hot, which was 2 times platinum. He had Like This, which was gold, and he had Move, which was gold. I met him around Move. And that's actually 3 out of 4 singles released by the label hits. So not a bad track record, probably better than what we remember. But I think that speaks to this idea of an early meteoric rise where someone seemingly comes out of nowhere with a hit. And then even if you have hits after that, gold compared to 2 times platinum, a gold single in 2008 is still great. But in our minds, in our collective memory, he flopped, right? And things didn't work out with the label. He left, blah, blah, blah. However, Mims was most certainly a millionaire after leaving that label situation. And he continues to be a multimillionaire to this day because of his investments. And there are articles about him. One of the apps that he co-founded was a TechCrunch something or other. I don't know about all that stuff. I just know he jumped into the tech investment world and did, in fact, continue at least financially succeeding. And hey, in 2010, he did a song with KRS-One, on some MC rapper type shit. So that's cool. But aside from that, a lot of people don't want to be like Mims. And I'm like, you should be like Mims. If you get to the point where you get a big hit, do what Mims did. Look at what he was doing, because, or like what Plies is doing. People like them that a lot of folks will mistakenly call, broke or flops or whatever. They're actually doing great for themselves simply because they chose not to do stupid stuff with their money, and because they chose to swallow their pride, or even it probably wasn't even a pride thing. It was just like, I'm going to stay relevant in this way. And this is a way that's non-traditional and that a lot of people won't view as success in the grand scheme of things when it comes to traditional ideas of success, i.e. continual strings of highly commercially successful hits. I think the collective fan psyche is so fucked up because on the one hand, if we're defending our favorite rapper and someone says, well, they don't have hits like that, we get infuriated. But if we're talking about a rapper we don't care about, what do we say? Oh, they haven't had a hit for 10 years. Or they had one hit, they're a one-hit wonder. It's funny how that works, right?
I would also throw Chameleon in there. But also
you did the same thing, yeah.
But also, like, Mims' one hit is still recognizable today. And I know I already made this point, but this is this is what I mean. I think there's going to be less records that had This Is Why I'm Hot success that we still know about, years later. So that was my other reason why I opted for, the longevity piece, because This Is Why I'm Hot. I'm sure that's still being placed in a lot of shit today, whether that's commercials or, movies, because that was a very recognizable, nationwide song.
I just want to comment that I wasn't coming from Mims, though. I was more so saying, if we're talking about a career longevity in music,
right?
Even though, what I'm saying, I'm just going with the point. I think with Mims, Chameleonaire, I was going to bring him up too. I think there's a lot of smart cats that took their music money and went somewhere else. I think everybody should be doing that. I'm doing that. I'm just saying, as it stands with the point, if you're talking about a career in music, yeah, that was my only point. But I completely agree with what y'all are saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we can move on to the next topic, but like there are a lot of independent artists that are like really doing well because there's a lot of revenue streams out there today. And sometimes, you might get into YouTube and, go deep into YouTube and like really kill it. Um, Today's just an amazing time to be a creator, in my opinion, because there's just a lot of different revenue streams. You just have to position yourself well to and have the consistency and the patience to really like some of these revenue streams take time. Um, so we can move on to the next topic. Pain.
Okay, I'll talk about this whole BeatStars promo situation then. Reddit is kind of the breeding ground for a lot. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. In this particular case, there was a response from the producer community. So I don't want to talk specifics, but a synopsis was that somebody who remained anonymous, who made it very clear they were anonymous, which I think is a problem when you're talking about the review of a service and you're providing data for which you have no actual social proof. He or they, they're anonymous, claimed that they invested $300 over a 2-week period in BeatStars promo and wasted all their money and got nothing in return. Now, they mentioned they did receive email leads. They also mentioned, which I found hilarious, that email addresses weren't real leads. And you can respond to that how you will. I made a video about it, but in a general sense, I think because a lot of people were upset, and I checked on Reddit, some of the artists, the users' other posts, and another post was, I spent $1,000 on Spotify playlist placements, and this is what happened. So,
Can I just explain? Because some people might not know what you're talking about.
Sure.
So on the BeatStars platform, as a producer, there's an internal ad system where, just like Facebook ads, like you can pay to get your beats more visibility on the platform, and hopefully people see it, they click through to your page and purchase beats. So I think a lot of people don't know that BeatStars has that capability. So I just wanted to quickly like throw that out there so that we all are on the same page on what you're referring to.
Yeah, and people have criticism of it. I think this is totally separate from any valid criticism of an ads platform, because I think I can give criticism for any ads platform. But in this instance, I want to ask you, because the timeline was 2 weeks and the total budget was $300. The conclusion was that this entire campaign and therefore the ads platform failed. I feel like you have something to say, Aaron. How should we manage our expectations when we're beginning to invest money in our advertising?
So I think a good part of ads, just great advertising in general, is knowing what you're doing. You won't know what you're doing until you spend some money. You could read every book about ads. You could take every Facebook and Google AdSense class and read every article. You still have to spend money. And then there's a difference between traffic ads and conversion ads. You can't convert until you have traffic. Traffic is the first thing that you're paying for. You want people to see you. Branding is about the rule of 3. People have to see you 3 times offer something that they want before they're even interested once. So if you spent $300 across 2 weeks and you still got email leads, you've actually done way better than I would expect with that amount. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like the ignorance about how the system works is evident because you're expecting that if I spend money, I should immediately make money. That's not how anything works. If you buy a house and you spend money on the house, even if the house appreciates tomorrow, that's not instantaneous money for you. Do you know what I'm saying? If you buy an investment property and you get a renter the second day, it's still not instantaneous money for you. So that investing is about doing something today that will affect you in the future. And usually at least the midterm future. I'm not saying the distant future. So if you're talking about a 3-week turnaround and you're complaining that it didn't yield the result that you wanted, that's ridiculous. Also,
two week only, actually, yeah.
2 weeks, right? I think this, and then it just seems like it's part of his brand. If he's already, I spent $1,000 on, I think I'm going to spend the lowest amount of money that they'll let me spend really quickly and then complain about it so I can get an audience. That's what that feels like to me. Because clearly,
if he even did, it's
anybody who does ads and it sounds ridiculous what he's saying and doing.
And I would say that the stats that Aaron just ran off is like, if people actually want what you're selling, right? Like just because you run ads doesn't mean it's going to convert to sales if nobody likes what you're selling. I mean, we're running quite a few ads right now because Big Jaw's web series is still behind a paywall. I mean, we're starting to release it weekly, and then you can watch the whole season of his Lesbian Homie 2 series. You can watch it. If you pay, you can watch the whole season, but we've been releasing them weekly. I think we just released episode 3, and we're running ads for that. Like, there's a lot of reasons that ads don't perform. Like, if his community didn't want to watch the Lesbian Homie 2, like, I don't care how many ads or how much money we spent, we're not going to get any sales. So, yeah, I mean, I think with ads, you got to be patient. I think it's dope now that we have these ads platform. At first, when Facebook first introduced that shit, everybody was like, oh, man, now we got to pay for access. And it still kind of sucks because our organic reach is super, super low. But ads are powerful, and you can spend a little bit of money and get a lot of information, right? To then kind of fine tune things and know where to spend the rest of your money. So it's a very effective way to spend. You just have to know what you're doing. And the Facebook platform is much more evolved than the BeatStars ads platform. I know that we're continuing to work on that. But you can get very scientific with Facebook ads. And it can lead to some pretty favorable results if you do them right and you have, something that people want to purchase.
Yes. But I'll say this, my first Facebook campaign was $1,000 and I wasn't making a living at that point. And $1,000 is and over time, over like almost a year, because I learned first not to just throw tons of money at one thing. And so I invested daily, because an ongoing campaign, in my experience, is more valuable, infinitely more valuable than just throwing $1,000 at something. I think people think scaling up immediately is the way to go. More money equals more results. And it's not the case, because you don't know what your results are going to be. So if you start at $5 and your results are trash, you don't kick it up to 500 because the results are trash. There's something wrong, and you have to figure out what that is. Now, that's a problem with that poster being anonymous, because we don't know if the beats are trash. Everyone thinks their music, their product, their beats are amazing. So if I think I have amazing beats and I invest, a couple $100 in advertising those beats, and the beats don't sell, I don't think it's my problem. I think it's the problem of whatever ad system I'm using. However, I think the best advice is, and this is what I learned. I'm not the only one saying it. When I interviewed Anyway Well, they said this too. The best advice I learned is, and I learned it the hard way, only put money behind what's already working. So and this is for me, not everybody does this. Some people are just better judges of their product. But for me, I'm not going to put money behind an advertisement unless the beats I'm advertising are already getting engagement. So I already put them out on YouTube. I already put them out on BeatStars, and I wait about 6 months until I get feedback and engagement and I look at those plays and are they selling? Are they not selling? If they're not selling, I'm not putting money behind them. But if people already like them, okay, cool. That's an indication that other people are going to like them. If my organic audience already likes the beats, my paid audience should probably like them as well. And that's what I've been doing for the last few years. And it's been more effective than me just saying, all right, you're going to love this beat. I have no idea. I have no data on it. I don't know what it is with this expectation in the music business that you can just throw money at something with no real research, no real engagement, no growing pains, no period of failure, no lessons learned, because this is real marketing. I think maybe because it's online, we think it's just this easy, one size fits all automated system, but it's not. There are certifications in Facebook ads. People with MBAs are learning this stuff in their master's programs. You, as someone with $300 in your pocket and a couple beats or a song that you just recorded, can't compete with that knowledge base, and those people still fail consistently. So if you want to jump into advertising, please learn it. Just like the music business. People think, music business, I make music. Step 1, step 2, I get money. It's like you're skipping a lot of stuff. This is a complicated world. Do yourself a favor and don't manage your expectations, but expect not to fail, but expect to learn and expect to learn over time. Nothing's instantaneous. I think it's good, though, that people read a Reddit post where someone complains that they didn't get rich in 2 weeks and they are discouraged, because those are the people that shouldn't be in the business anyway. And the Reddit poster actually did them favors, because if they say, hey, you know what? You can't spend $300 over the course of 14 days and become a rich and famous producer. And they say, all right, well, I'm out. Good. Because people just saved themselves a lot of heartache. They were going to be frustrated if that's the mentality they had. And those expectations are unreasonable.
And I just think most things, I won't say all things, but most things don't work without consistency. Like you said, there's a lot of steps. How many beats do you have? Do you already have an audience? Because if you're doing traffic ads to a cold audience, expecting the warm audience conversion rate, then you're really stuck. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, I'm running these, like Dame is running ads to Big Jaw's audience. If you don't already have an audience, now really, again, your ads are for traffic. You want people to see you and then come to your page. And then once they come to your page, then you know what I'm saying? It's like a multi-step process. I think that this also helps debunk that people, it's just everything is pay to play in the music industry. When people say that, I'm like, there are a lot of pay to play things, but most of those things don't render any results. It's just bullshit, right? So when people are like, the industry is pay to play, everybody just has to pay, and nobody has talent, it's like, how? Because I represent a lot of talented artists, and I think we're winning pretty well. And we don't have a ton of money, but I've also seen a lot of untalented artists. I've had trust fund babies offer money. I know you've experienced this pain. Like people coming with big budgets, don't know what they're doing, not great at anything. People are taking advantage of them. And I'm like, nah, I can't put my hands on this. But there's a lot of rich white dads in this industry trying to pay for their kids to accelerate through. Pay to play is not the only way. Now, money plus connections plus a little bit of talent, you may be able to finesse and finagle a few things, but it still takes a lot more steps than, if you just pay for this. So I think it's lazy. I think it's obvious that this person is trying to stir up drama with ignorant people. And I think that if you're ignorant, you shouldn't listen to people who haven't spent real money and real time invested in the thing that you're interested in learning.
See, I disagree. I think if you're ignorant, that's precisely what you should be doing. Otherwise, you cease to be ignorant. So If you want to stay consistently ignorant, please listen to people who don't know what they're talking about. But
does anybody want to stay ignorant though?
It seems that way. Sometimes it seems that way.
Some people don't have a choice. This is what it is. Anything else on that topic?
I had something, but I forgot it. Just more advice on ads. Yeah, just learn this stuff, please. I don't want to make it seem like people need to go to a school of business to learn this stuff. I don't think the people that I learned it from did, but there are resources out there. That's all. Like anything else.
I'll say I don't even run ads though, because I'm terrible at them. Like Brandon runs all of our ads. I can't even, it's like, I feel like you need a PhD to run ads on Facebook at this point because of it's so complicated. So I don't know. I would say it is very complicated. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fail.
This is what I was going to say though. The leads though, the email, this is why it was it blew my mind when the poster said, all the leads that BeatStars offers are emails. I'm like, wait, number one, no other ads platform offers those. And then number two, you just people pay a lot of money for email leads. So take those email leads. So this is why I know the guy that posted. I'm assuming it's a guy because I just think men do stupid shit like this. But I'm assuming that they don't know anything about ads because, or like on ads on a complex level because they don't know what to do with email leads. They think, okay, I have the email leads. And in the post, he said, I was using their emails and searched for their social media so I could, I'm like, no, emails are better than social media. He was lamenting that he couldn't extract social media usernames from his campaigns. I'm like, that's not why. That's not the point. That's never been the point. Because I know that email leads are the fuel that powers Facebook campaigns, for sure. Long-term email campaigns, but the Facebook campaigns, you dump all your email leads into your Facebook audience builder, and if you have the right amount, suddenly you have a lookalike audience, and whoa, you just cut through. I say there are no shortcuts in the music business. This is a shortcut in the music business. You'll cut through everything, and you no longer need to really know that much about ads because you don't have to convert cold leads and warm them up and blah, blah, blah. You have great leads. Facebook just did all the work for you. It's a learning system. It takes some time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, great. Look it up. There are YouTube videos about it. Lookalike audiences. You need the email leads in order to create those. And so you get those from this campaign. So again, the post is just a hotbed of ignorance. And I'm honestly not mad about it because if that's what it is, then the people that consume that content and agree with it, they're following the trajectory that they want to. No one's forcing them to be ignorant.
Also, email leads in tandem with ads will get you higher conversions, but this is not an ads discussion. I just think, I think you're spot on about the ignorance. And Dame, I know you don't like to highlight ignorant people, but I think I do think it's beneficial to talk about ways that you can spot people. It's just like he's already got a trail of tears. So it's like helpful to be like, don't waste your time with these people.
Yeah. All right, we can move on. Aaron, you want to talk about your topic, or was the Carl Cherry thing what you wanted to talk about?
The Carl Cherry thing is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. So let's so Russ recently talked about, he made a post saying, essentially that you can't be blackballed. And some people still believe that you can be blackballed in today's industry. But wanted to get your guys' perspective on his comments. And maybe we pull them back up. I should have pulled it back up. Maybe one of you guys can pull it up quicker than me, but hold on. Because it was a tweet. Well, it was a screenshot of an Instagram story in a tweet, correct?
I can read it to you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to give my 2 cents on something in the industry. No artist is blackballed. Unless they cut off your Wi-Fi, remove your social media accounts, and take your music off of all streaming platforms, you are not blackballed. If you are famous and can still tell your fans, hey, I'm putting out music, then you're not blackballed. Fans will listen. Fans will listen to your music or they won't. It's that simple. Also, if you are famous and a famous artist and need playlists in order for people to listen to your music, how real are your fans? Why do they support you? Why don't they support you regardless? We're giving too much credit and power to the DSPs and not enough power to us, the artists and the fans. I know for me, as long as I can tell my fans I'm putting out music, I'm straight. I'm not entitled to any playlist, nor do I need them for my fans to listen to me. That's why they're my fans.
Right. So I believe Russ is 100% correct. If you build it that way, right? Like and that goes back to the more independent mindset. Like if you have that, to me, that's the safest and the least risky way to play this game, is to understand how to move independently, kind of build your foundation brick by brick, fan by fan. However, there are cats and women that get into the industry, like from the industry, right? Some people get into the industry like by, building a fan base, but there are still some people that get in like through the industry. And if that is what kind of props up your career, like the industry, I believe, can blackball you that way, right? Like, not getting access to radio, like all of like the big like major label looks, or I guess now, major playlist placements. So I think you can get blackballed if you built your career that way, like coming in through the industry. And this might be a very short conversation as Payne is talking to his cat. So we'll wait to get his 2 cents. But that's how.
So let me make this clear. I heard she was messing with another vase. You know what happened on a previous episode. I heard glass. I heard her paw hitting the glass. So I had to do something.
With a cat, I don't even know why you own a vase. Like, I don't even know like why a vase would be sitting anywhere if you have a cat that likes to use them as punching bags. Like, I don't.
So I can make a Reddit post. I spent $300 on vases in 2 weeks and lost it all.
So yeah, I think Payne weigh in on this one, but I think we'll all like feel the same way, because we kind of sit. I mean, Payne, you have some major label experience and success, but I think we've all kind of built things a similar way to achieve the things that we've achieved in the music industry. So of course I'm going to side with Russ, but I understand how some people in the industry might say they are blackballed because it can happen to them.
Yeah. And I mean, things can, like, you can get, we've talked about this before. If somebody says something or does something and there's a pattern of behavior and just kind of a dark cloud of negativity around a person based on their own actions, there are consequences. People will stop working with you. And sometimes it's fair. I think often it's fair, often it's unfair. We hear about this all the time with, for example, I don't even want to go there, but like women who were sexually harassed in, the entertainment industry or something, and then called out their accuser or something. And then the accuser has a lot of friends and connections, and people might, so I think blackballing is real to an extent. The way that a lot of people look at blackballing, I think, is either one in the sort of cancel culture-esque sense where they do something, there's a consequence, and then they're upset about it. And that's what cancel culture is. People do some shit. A bunch of people say something because that's how social media is. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you didn't have immediate responses from the public, but you do now with social media. So people see that and they think, okay, everyone's against me. And it's like they would have been against you 20 years ago. You can just see the tweets today. you're not canceled. You're just getting a backlash. Every backlash has been around for centuries. And then number two, there are people who feel as though they're being blackballed when in reality there's nothing going on. They're just not really working hard enough to reach that next level, and they're actually sabotaging themselves. I find the second category fascinating, because how many people have I run into that have asserted that they were being blackballed when they're like a year into their career, no one knows who they are. I had a conversation, and it was actually a productive conversation for once on YouTube, where someone accused BeatStars of blackballing them from playlists. I'm like, no one knows who you are. What are you talking about? You know, there are hundreds of thousands of users. What are you doing to stand out? You know, I just said, look, if you're looking at me as someone that's gaining favor over you, compare what I've done to what you've done. And at the end of it, he said, all right, maybe you're right. Because my point was, do you have 2,000 beats up? Have you been doing this for 15 years? Do you upload 2 beats a day? You know, all the things that I do. Once, if you do all those things and you still don't get any sort of results, something's up. But if you have 50 beats up and I have 2,000, you're like, why can't I get what Payne's getting? It's like, that's not how that works. I do think at one point in the industry, I was blackballed by a certain person who's in a very powerful position, because I spoke out about something that he did. And I don't think it was, you know, it didn't stop my career. I only grew from there, but it did at least temporarily kill some opportunities for me. I don't have proof of this, so I'm not going to speak on it, but I understand the paranoia, because it really is a small space. You think the music business is this global space, and to an extent it is. But when you're talking about producing hip hop beats in North America, yeah, New York and LA are thousands of miles apart. But those people make that trip every week. You know what I mean? And they're on the phone and the internet. So it's whatever's being said about you among a small group of people can have consequences, for better or worse. And for me, it was unfair, but also I acknowledge that in the past, when something I didn't like happened to me in the music business, I was very public and aggressive about it. And even though I wasn't necessarily wrong to air out my grievances, that probably wasn't the smartest way to go about it.
I mean, that's big that you even said that.
Yeah, I mean, everything has consequences, and when someone does something to you silently and you complain about it loudly, people look at you differently. You know, you may bring on a lot more negativity, even if your anger is justified simply by declaring your anger out loud.
The last thing I'll say on this is, one, it's very easy to kind of like sit by ourselves these days and like convince ourselves of some shit that doesn't even exist. Like, we're just online, like making assumptions and reading stuff, and you know, so there's that. But there's, on the other side, there are some selfish ass people in this industry, right? And you might feel blackballed just because those people don't see you as useful anymore to them, right? So you're not necessarily blackballed, you just didn't build with the right people. They no longer see you as a value to them, and now they don't answer your call. So I don't know if that's blackballed, but that's just like shady people. That's just like shady, selfish people that hopefully you're building with the opposite type of people in this industry. You know, because when I was going through my stuff, that was definitely some people that I thought were cool that like definitely didn't hit me back. I wouldn't necessarily say I don't think I can be like blackballed. Like, I feel like I bring a lot to the table. And I don't need the music industry anyway. Like, so it's whatever. But I still enjoy what I do. And thankfully, a lot of people still rock with me and see value in what I bring to the table. So, yeah, I think we're all on the same page of the blackball stuff.
Absolutely. So having
I
said
was
that,
gonna say something though.
okay.
Sorry. I will say this. I do think kind of mentioning what you had said about women, I think that it is a little bit easier for a woman to get X'd out in the industry because with a man, men will deal with a personality issue. They'll just be like, oh, that's just him. But with a woman, even if it's not a personality issue, if a man doesn't like her and he can convince a group of men not to like her, it makes it way more difficult for her to maneuver, right? And I won't say that I haven't personally. I've experienced a little bit of that. Like, I'm currently actually experiencing that. But I'm like, dang, it's like, I don't need the music industry. Like, I'm a community builder, so I'm going to win whatever industry I go into. And also because of that, the music industry is small, but there's so many places that you can go. So if somebody's trying to X you out, it's just like, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm going to move over here. But I will say, going back to the original Russ thing, I'm grateful that he said it because there are a lot of artists who are like, man, da-da-da isn't rocking with me. I'm not getting a cosign. Somebody hating on you is not you getting blackballed. That's very legit. Somebody may not want to post you because they feel like you're coming for their spot. That's not blackballed. I don't even know if it's possible in any industry now to get blackballed, like he said, because of the internet. You, B. Simone, case in point, everybody hated B. Simone, but B. Simone just kept doing her thing. She made some apologies, but she never backed off. She was like, this is where I'm at. B. Simone made more money when she was blackballed in the year that people said that she was what? She became a millionaire in the year that people said that she was nixed, da-da-da-da. Nobody's messing with her because she didn't need the industry. Like, she didn't need the beauty industry. She didn't need the book industry. She had cold, hard fans who were still supporting her. So I'm fully in agreement with this. If you have real life people, or if you know what you're doing, even if all the people who are supporting you, they're the chick who did a sprinkle of Jesus, got caught in fraud and was like doing all these crazy things, took a year, rebranded, came back, millionaire. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and she was fraudulent, like actually committing fraud, like doing terrible things, but she knew what she was doing. She can move people. She changed her industry, came back, and now is a beauty influencer. So I think it's a very easy way for people to say, like, and people will back off from you. If you are a trash person, if you are being ignorant, this is kind of in reference to an artist who's been very ignorant intentionally on purpose for years. So, and it's finally catching up to this artist. People will back off. If you're relying on all of these button pushers to push your career forward, of course you'll get messed up. But again, day and age, if you have the internet and you know what you're doing, you should be able to win. If you can't win, then you are just a puppet.
I think it's whack to there's definitely a few people that if I did go out of my way to like trash, like they would deserve it. But like, it's whack to go out of your way. Like, if they're about to do business with somebody that I know and I want to, and I'm cool with, then I will give you a heads up. Like, hey, this person, you might want to rock, but I'm not going to go out of my way to like mess up somebody's stuff just because I'm not a fan of what you do, or even if you did me shady. Now, again, if you touching somebody close to me, or trying to deal with somebody close to me, that's different. But I typically am not gonna go online or and just be messy. I just kind of cut my losses and check the deuces to that person. But yeah, because it's messy if you're just out there talking crazy about people. Even though some people might believe it, there's another like more mature population that is like, man, like, why is this person even saying it? Like, this person looks crazy for bringing this up out of the blue to trash this other person. So anyway, I think we killed it this episode, Payne. We can wrap it up.
Sounds good. So appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back same time, same place. And just to let everyone know, I'm live with Looped In. So if you're a producer, you can submit 3 loops a week, and myself or a celebrity producer will make beats out of those loops every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on beatstars.live. But if you want to be alerted every time I go live, then Dame will let you know how to do that. I'll personally send you a text as long as you text MEC to this number.
All you got to do is text MEC to 844-206-7800. Also, I'll be having some submission opportunities coming up for BeatStars Records. One, when the website goes live, anybody can submit their music through the website. But I'm also going to be looking specifically for holiday sounding beats very soon. So if you got some Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer bangers or some what's another one?
Oh, I do actually.
Yeah, Payne. Yeah, definitely send me some Payne, because we're gonna make Abe wants us to make an instrumental album, but I'm like, that's just boring. I don't want to do it. I'll do the instrumental album, but I'm also gonna look for some artists to make some holiday music, because I don't want to just put out beats. Why not finish the song if we're gonna get some beat submissions? So I know we're running short on time because Christmas is right around the corner. The holiday season is right around the corner. So that submission opportunity should be up relatively soon. And hopefully we got some dope artists that are ready to, make some songs. So, and then lastly, of course, we have the Excellence Academy. Shout out Aaron, join the Excellence. Still haven't gotten an invite, by the way. I just want to let you know that this is now.
I invite y'all every time y'all bring it up.
We're probably out 6 months.
That's not a form. We need a Google invite. We need a calendar.
Okay. When I invite y'all gotta come. The class would be stoked if one of y'all jumped on, honestly.
It's how long has the Excellence Academy been around now, Payne? What?
Since January.
6 months? Oh, longer than that.
Yeah, we 10 excellent
10 months. 10 months. Goodness gracious. Okay. Anyway, holla at theexcellenceacademy.biz. Is that correct?
Correct.
And get excellent. Everybody.
That sounds good.
I like that. Get
Is
excellent.
That's not the slogan yet?
It's not, but it's about to be.
But that's what they should get. So that's what we're striving for. And obviously, again, Payne and I just haven't reached that threshold yet. So
no, we're blackballed.
Cool. Yes, we are definitely
from the Excellence Academy.
We are definitely blackballed from the Excellence Academy. Yeah. That is a fact.
All right, well,
as the young people say, no cap. That's I thought I'd end it with a grandpa moment. All right, y'all, we out.
All right, peace everyone.